Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive, this time into something a little different. You guys requested we tackle a classic German folktale,
A folktale.
and I have to admit, I was surprised by how much there is to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
We're diving into the Bremen Town Musicians,
Okay.
a story about a donkey, a dog, a cat, and a rooster who
Right.
decide to become musicians.
It's not just a cute animal story, though, is it? This tale has resonated across cultures for centuries.
Yeah, exactly, and we've got a translated excerpt of the original
Oh, wow.
by the Brothers Grimm.
Okay, cool.
So we can really dig into what makes it so enduring.
Yeah.
So we're going beyond just retelling the plot, you know? We're going to explore the layers of meaning and symbolism and see what this deceptively simple story can tell us about resilience, community, and maybe even a bit about how societies view those they consider past their prime.
It's fascinating how each animal represents a different stage of decline. The donkey's strength is fading.
Yeah.
The dog can't hunt anymore. The cat's lost its sharp teeth. And the rooster, well, he's facing a pretty grim fate.
Right.
The Brothers Grimm chose animals that were once valuable to humans, but are now seen as burdens. What do you think they were saying about how societies view aging and usefulness?
That's a great point. It's like they're highlighting this fear of becoming obsolete, of not having a place or a purpose anymore. I think anyone who's ever felt undervalued or like they're approaching an expiration date can relate to that, don't you think?
Absolutely. But instead of accepting their fate, these animals choose a new path. They decide to become musicians in Bremen.
Yeah, it's a bold move. It makes you wonder why Bremen.
Yeah.
What was it about that city that held such appeal for them?
Well, Bremen was known for its freedom, its bustling marketplace, its vibrant culture. For these animals who felt rejected and discarded, represented a chance to reinvent themselves.
So it's not just about becoming musicians, it's about finding a place where they belong, where they could be their true selves.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, they never actually reach Bremen. The story ends with them taking over a robber's hideout.
I love how the story just leaves us hanging like that.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Brothers Grimm wanted to spark our imaginations and let us decide what happens next.
That's what makes it so interesting for this deep dive.
Right.
So what happened to these animals? Did they embrace their musical aspirations, or did they find a different kind of fulfillment? Let's explore those possibilities in part 2 of our deep dive. So we're left wondering, did they ever actually become musicians? You know,
Right.
they set out with that goal, but ended up finding a home in a rather unexpected place. What do you think?
The open ending really makes you think about the meaning of home and fulfillment.
Yeah.
For them, finding a place of belonging was more important than achieving that specific goal of playing music in Bremen.
That's a really interesting take. It's like the journey itself and the connections they formed along the way became their true reward. But I can't help but imagine those animals trying to make music. I mean, picture it. The donkey with his deep bray, the dog with his barks, the cat meowing, and the rooster crowing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be your typical orchestra, that's for sure.
Right.
But maybe that was their appeal. Imagine them, this ragtag group of outcasts, making music that challenged the norms and brought joy to those who felt different.
I love that. It could have been this amazing expression of their individuality, their refusal to be defined by society's expectations. They could have been a real inspiration to others who felt like they didn't fit in.
And think about the context of Bremen as this free city, a place where trade and culture flourished. Their music could have been a reflection of that spirit, a celebration of diversity and self-expression.
But of course, there's also the possibility that they simply enjoyed the peace and quiet of their newfound home. After all they'd been through, maybe they just wanted to relax and savor their freedom.
It's a valid point. They earned their rest. Maybe they turned that robber's den into a haven, a place where they could just be themselves without judgment or fear.
That image makes me think about how we all need that sense of belonging, that place where we feel safe and accepted for who we are, whether it's a physical location, a community, or even just a state of mind.
Exactly. And maybe that's what the Brothers Grimm were trying to get at with this story. It's not just about achieving a specific goal, but about finding your place in the world, your tribe, your Bremen, so to speak.
And maybe like these animals, we discover that our Bremen isn't what we initially expected. It might be something entirely different, something we find along an unexpected path.
That's what makes this story so powerful. It reminds us that even when faced with hardship, even when we feel like we're past our prime, we have the power to choose a different narrative for ourselves.
It really makes you think about the choices we make and the unexpected turns life can take. Yeah, it's interesting how the story makes us think about, our own journeys.
Right.
And those unexpected turns. We set out with a plan. A destination in mind, but sometimes life leads us somewhere entirely different.
Absolutely. And that's where the real learning and growth can happen. It's in those moments when we have to adapt to embrace the unknown and find, new meaning and purpose.
Just like those animals, we might discover that what we thought we wanted wasn't really what we needed. Maybe our Bremen is closer than we think, or maybe it takes a completely different form than we ever imagined.
Yeah, what's important is that we keep moving forward, that we don't give up on the possibility of finding our place, our community, our sense of belonging.
And maybe that's the most powerful message of this story. It's not just about reaching a destination, but about the journey itself. It's about the courage to step outside of our comfort zones, to embrace our individuality, and to find strength in unexpected places.
The Bremen Town Musicians show us that even when we feel like we're past our prime, even when society tells us we're no longer useful, we still have the power to create our own happy ending.
And it might not be the ending we initially envisioned, but it could be something even more meaningful and fulfilling.
So as you go about your day, I encourage you to think about what your Bremen might be. What are those things that make you feel alive, that give you a sense of purpose and belonging?
And don't be afraid to embrace the unexpected turns along the way, because sometimes the most beautiful destinations are the ones we discover by accident.
The Bremen Town Musicians remind us that it's never too late to change our tune, to find our tribe, and to create a life that truly resonates with our souls.
So keep exploring, keep dreaming, and most importantly, keep listening to The Deep Dive for more fascinating insights into the stories that shape our world.